Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot. So Rafa Nadal has come up with some interesting quotes recently, talking to Vamos on Movie Star. So a very interesting little segment there. But first of all, thank you very much for tuning in as well. Please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Of course, as you can probably tell, we've been not as heavy on content. The Davis Cup's going on, and unfortunately put it behind paywall here in the UK on Eurosport Player. I mean, there's so many things people are already paying for: Sky Sports, normal Eurosport, Amazon Prime to watch tennis. I'm not quite sure why they put it on there, but either way, that's going on, and it's pretty interesting. But I just haven't had time, honestly, and we've obviously covered a lot of events this year, so I thought it would be a good time to have a bit of a break from the watch-alongs. But do keep an eye out for the annual tennis awards, or we should have two other channels collaborating with us on Quality Shot, and it's going to be a lot of fun with lots of different categories, so I can't wait. So back to this. So Nadal talking about the big three, talking about the Grand Slam race, and he had this to say. So I'm going to read the exact quote. He said, Djokovic is best positioned to be the player with the most Grand Slams. You don't have to fool yourself. Federer is where he is, and I am where I am. Djokovic is the favorite right now. It's very, very clear to me that what he says is true, and people will know who have watched the channel for a long time that I'm a big Rafa Nadal fan, but that's just the truth, right? That Novak Djokovic is currently, he's currently the best player form wise, I think, and has been throughout this year so far, winning 3 out of the 4 slams. That puts him in a pretty good position to win, the most slams out of himself, Nadal, and Federer next year, and most likely to actually finish on the most slams in total. Anyways, in terms of his exact quote and whether there's anything to unpack, I think, to be fair, you can take it mostly at face value. I think the only thing you might say is it a little bit of mind games from Rafa? He's so clever in the way that he speaks for the most part. He's very dignified, but he's not adverse to playing, the odd mind game here and there. It's not a huge, I guess, signature move from him, but he may be. Could he be saying that to put less pressure on himself and then say, well, you know what, all the pressure's on Djokovic to do it. There's no pressure on me. And that then gives him a very hungry chasing mentality going into next year. Of course, he's on 20, so is Djokovic, so is Federer. But, with Federer, I think it's safe to say most likely we won't see him win another Grand Slam. Hopefully we will see him back on tour. But in terms of him, I guess, being a threat to get past that 20 mark, I think is pretty unlikely, but you never know. So I think for me, it's down to Nadal, Rafa, and Novak Djokovic. Djokovic, as a lot of people like to call him. And no doubt, Djokovic is the favorite, no doubt. But I think Nadal is definitely saying, he's definitely saying, look, don't fool yourself. And, he's definitely the best positioned. And I think that's trying to put the onus on Djokovic, saying, look, this is yours to lose, right? If you don't get there, then it's a failure on your part. But for me, well, I don't really expect to get there. So if I do, well, bonus. But if I do, it's basically because you've choked. Now, will that heap more pressure on Djokovic, who definitely felt the pressure, no doubt? He definitely felt the pressure, didn't he? Let's be honest. This year it was, definitely a tough year. He was looking to win the Grand Slam, winning all 4 Grand Slams in a calendar year, which would have been an incredible feat. But for the most part, and pretty much throughout his whole career, he has been very, very good at handling the pressure. Probably the best on tour, and potentially the best out of the 3, honestly. He's had nerves of steel, and I think that's been one of the biggest aspects of his game is his mental toughness. However, there is definitely now. I mean, when we talk about mental toughness, though, these types of records, these types of bits of history to make are monumental, really. These aren't just I've won the most ATP 1000 titles. This is, I'm going to win the most Grand Slams, not just on my generation, but ever in men's tennis. So a lot riding on it. And, it still remains to be seen whether Novak Djokovic will play in Australia, because they have put in very strict regulations where you have to be vaccinated to play, from what I know, which, and if I was to assume, I'd say he hasn't had the vaccine because he is quite against vaccines in general from his past comments anyway. But you never know, he may have. But from what's coming out, from what he said and his dad as well, it sounds like he hasn't had it yet. Is he going to have it? I mean, the Australian Open is his most successful Grand Slam, right, in terms of wins, won that 8 times. And, he is a phenomenal player on the surface in Australia, no doubt. So, this is a really good opportunity for him to get ahead in the Grand Slam race for the first time ever. Is it worth him, potentially, I guess, in his eyes, and I'm sure, he would be able to tell us better, but compromising his morality for that, I think from what he said, probably not. But in saying that, I don't know how strong his opinion is on not getting it, to be fair. So we shall see. We shall see. And sorry, he hasn't won the Australian Open 8 times. It's actually 9, to correct myself. So yeah, he's a phenomenal talent, Novak Djokovic, and I can only speak volumes about how good a player he is. He is a phenomenon, no doubt. And let's see. I really do hope that he does play, even as a Rafa fan. And obviously, I want Rafa to end up on the most slams, but I think realistically, I want to see the best players playing. I think if Novak's not there, then Nadal's chances of winning it definitely increase. He's only won there once at Australia, but he's made quite a few finals and semi-finals, so his record there is not terrible. But out of all the slams, it's the worst. He's won Wimbledon twice, US Open 4 times, obviously in the French Open. He's won 13. So, and look, he's got a very, very good record. In the other slams, and to be fair, not too bad one in Australia, but in terms of titles won at the Australian Open, he definitely pales in comparison to Federer or Djokovic. Federer has said that he's not going to be playing the Australian Open, and most likely he will miss the French Open and Wimbledon as well. So if we do see him, it will be at the US Open. So really, it's a question mark around Novak Djokovic. Nadal's definitely going to be playing unless somehow he gets a late injury. Federer's not going to be there, set in stone, really. For Djokovic, he's up in the air. And I think, obviously, even if he doesn't play, there's still Medvedev, Zverev, Tsitsipas, those types of players, team if he's back by then as well, to contend with Rafa. But, I think Rafa would enjoy the opportunity, no doubt. But we shall see. Anyways, that's all from me. Let's see how it pans out. It's just interesting to see Nadal say this, honestly, because I don't think he's ever been in a position where he's given an interview or he's made a remark where he said, Djokovic is the man to beat, really, or the man to get past, because he is the one that is really at the top of the tree and best positioned to be at the top of the tree. But that is pretty much what he said. There could be, as I said, some connotations there in terms of mind games, but I'm not sure about that. I think it's more pretty black and white. Anyways, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Really do appreciate it. Fantastic support so far on the channel. Liking and subscribing really, really does help us out. And do click this notification bell as well to get alerts to all the new videos. We do have a Discord server. The link is in the description of this video. And also, we are on Twitter at QualityShot1, Instagram, QualityShot.f, And of course, we are on Facebook at QualityShot as well. And we have a Patreon account. Do check it out if you want to support the channel and get some cool perks. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.